Hey y'all, Crissy O here from Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles YouTube channel and CrissyOShow.com website. We're everywhere, all over the place. You can find us and we want you to be one of our flock stars. So do us a favor, if you feel so inclined to do so, please make sure that you subscribe, join us, follow along, and all the wonderful cluckiness that's happening. So today, let's go ahead and talk about it. Today's vlog is more of a muddy mission, all right? It's rainy day prep for homesteaders, okay? I know. You're just like, rainy day prep? Yes, there's always going to be rain. And if you're in eastern North Carolina like I am, we're fighting a losing battle with this clay, dirt, and zero drainage, okay? So my ducks are turning their pens into complete mud pit splash zones with their water drinkers. Oh my gosh. I mean, I can't even tell you how many more times I have slipped in there, slipped, fallen, or just slipped and caught myself. It's way more times than I can count. And it's hilarious to everybody else, but not to me. But anyway, we're going to cover some drainage, duck messes, and tips just to stay sane in all of this stuff. So grab your rain boots. Let's wade on in and let's do a rainy day rescue homestead prep for a muddy duckies. First of all, I want to talk clay. Not modeling clay, not that kind of clay. Just clay dirt, you know. It's just sticky red clay stuff, all right? So eastern North Carolina has got heavy clay. It's holding water like a sponge. And with all of these inches of rain, we get 40 to 50 inches of rain yearly, and that's an estimate, you know, from what I pulled off the site. It can turn into a swamp fest real fast here, okay? So the USDA says that clay, it's great for holding nutrients, but let me tell y'all something. This clay, this red clay, it is so bad for draining. Now, water pools here, like the duck pools, make complete mud pie, mud pits all the time. My yard is an absolute mess after a downpour. And after I've landed on my big old fat hiney parts trying to cross it, I'm a little over it, okay? And you would be too if you slip down as many times as we have done that. And I swear I think the ducks are laughing at us when they do that. It seems like they are anyway. So I know they say drainage is key. They want you to... The recommendation that I'm going to give, which I have not done because, let's face it, it's kind of hard here. We're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods. They say dig like a shallow trench about 6 inches deep to 12 inches wide, kind of slope to a low spot or, you know, a dry area, whatever. Then they say, well, fill it with gravel or crushed stone. It moves water away fast. Well, I'm for sure it does. So if you guys want to try that, they say it can cut those puddles by half. Until your duck will run by and probably splash in it, make a whole brand new mud pie. So they also talk about adding something called a French drain with like perforated pipe if it's really bad. Now that cost, from what I could find and tell you guys, was anywhere from like $100 to $200. And they say it can save a lot on your sanity, but I'm sorry. I'm going to have to learn and laugh through this whole muddle puddle business because it's just a lot of work. It really is. Yeah. Now, my ducks are 5 girls, 1 boy. So... that's all I have is like 6 ducks. But let me tell you, when they get in those pools, they get into their water drinkers or anybody's water drinkers. It doesn't matter where they are. They are the mud kings of the world, let me tell you. And if you got ducks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The water drinkers, I don't care what kind you have, they're going to splash them. They're going to leak. They're going to splash more. The pen turns into a swamp. All right? That's just how ducks roll. And typically ducks are going to need 1 to 2 gallons of water daily, but because they are waterfowl, they turn everything into a bath. Everything. All of it. Okay, so if you don't have ducks, word to the wise. I love my ducks. Absolutely love my babies. But your drop of water can turn into a complete mud pie for everybody, including you and them. Now, National Duck Research says that they love water for preening. That's how they make themselves so pretty, and they preen their little feathers and all that stuff. So my pen's clay base, it literally holds every stinking drop of water. And I have slipped down, fallen down, trying to chase Jane Lily with my soak tail in. Okay, so that's kind of difficult when you're working with the clay in eastern North Carolina. If you don't have clay, you ain't got to worry about it, you know. Now, what we've done is we've raised their drinkers on bricks or blocks or whatever. You can even put them on stands if you've got them. Just we try to keep them off the ground as much as we can, cutting spillage. And you can use things like catch pans. They're like $10 if you want to catch those. But I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what you do when you have ducks. The pen looks like a complete duck spa. Feathers flying, mud flying, whatever. We've done everything. We've added all kinds of chips. We've put some, gravel in there. You can add sand. You can do your best to like soak up the mess. But that's going to be like 2 or 3 inches deep that you have to do this, and you got to replace it. So it's a constant battle. But with that constant battle, I have to say that they're happy little quacks. It makes it worth the giggle, and it makes it worth my time and fun. So yes, I love my ducks. Even though I complain about their mess, I still love my ducks. So one of the things I wanted to mention to y'all, just in case you're battling and you don't have an idea of what you want to do if you're in eastern North Carolina and you want to work on your coop and your yard prep, is when you're prepping the coop and the yard, just make sure you're elevating your coops. If they're not already elevated, just elevate them. You can put them on blocks. You can put them on whatever, just raise them up 12 to 18 inches up, because clay here, if you're dealing with the same thing we're dealing with, it floods very easily. And wet bedding breeds mites, and you don't need that, okay? So don't skip on that if you don't have a barn or places for them to be and you're dealing with coops. Elevate it, raise it up. I can tell you this, if things get nasty and muggy and, just soggy and groggy and gross, your chickens is going to give you the stink eye. First of all, they don't want a soggy nest. They want a dry, clean, nice nest. So you can also, which I've done before, and some of you ask me, why do you use, straw or shavings or, wheat straw, hay, and all that stuff? Don't it cause mold? Not here. It can in certain areas, but where I'm located at, it typically doesn't cause mold here. And it absorbs like 3 times its weight in water. So once it's done, you can either rake it out or rake it in to the ground, and you just got some extra mulch. And a lot of times the chickens will go through it and help mulch it for you anyway. So you just clean it out. That's all you got to do. But like for your yard, if you want to build like raised paths, you can use gravel or old bricks or whatever. You can do that. Just so many different things that you can do if you're dealing with what we're dealing with clay and water. Now, the NRCS recommends like contouring slopes down just to redirect water, or dig shallow swells like every 10 feet and all that stuff. The only thing you're going to have to worry about is if you got ducks, they're going to turn it into a slide. They're going to slip and slide, and they're going to have a ball, and they're just going to find another mud puddle. So you got to be creative, but ducks are also creative when it comes to water and those types of things. And here they get a lot of mud. They absolutely will make you muddy and everything else. So that's what we're doing. Now, I know you guys have seen my video, and if you have not, go back and look at the clover that we were talking about. Any bare spots in your yard that you have, just use clover. all the animals can eat clover. Yes, it will attract bees and honeybees, but if you're homesteading, you might want that. So you know what I'm saying? Cover any bare spots in your yard that you have with clover. It really grows very good in clay, and it holds the dirt. It holds it, okay? And they can munch on it, so there you go. You've knocked all that out. We're trying to keep the clover back there in our backyard and keep it moving because they absolutely love that stuff. And clover pretty much grows most climates, I think, pretty well. So check it out. Now, we do have safety, and there's also long-term solutions that you want to think about. So you want to first make sure that there's safety first in the rain. All right, that's because of falls, different types of hazards and things like that. So if you got your rubber boots and your gloves, just wear those, because I'm going to tell you, in the mud and in the clay hides things that you didn't know were there, i.e. nails. I can't tell you how many we found, screws, nails, all that stuff, and you can step on them. And that's not good because they're typically rusty. They're not brand new nails. But it turns up and churns up things in the clay, dirt, and all that stuff over a period of time. So you don't want to hop on a nail and be like, oh my gosh. So just make sure that you are real safe. Keep your first aid kit dry. Keep it dry. And any type of cuts or anything that you get, cuts, abrasions, that kind of thing, just make sure that you keep things washed with soap and water, clean and dry, because that stuff can get super infected really fast, especially in muddy climate, muddy water, muddy clay, that kind of thing. Because even if you deal with like flooding and different things like that, flood water can carry bacteria. So you want to make sure that you're really washing your hands after muddy, mucky, ducky, grossy water duty. You just want to make sure of that. Now, if your rain's like coming through heavy like it's been for us at times, just move your feed to a shed if you've got one, garage, somewhere, because moldy grains will make a flock very sick within 24 hours, and you got to get rid of it. So you want to make sure you don't have that and it's not wet. You know, you just don't want to have the mold and all of that stuff in there. You just don't want to deal with that. And if you need a long-term solution, you know, some people have put in these things called rain gardens, and that's where they dig like 3-foot depressions. They fill it with native plants like switchgrass, that kind of thing. It's a little on the pricey side, and it can cost around $300 to $500, but it does tend to handle runoffs pretty well. So I haven't done that yet because right now my duck pen's a lost cause. But anyway, that's what I'm dealing with now. And any other updates or anything that I need, I always check the weather for forecasts and go to all the sites that I know are credible, good sites to check the weather for different forecasts, because Eastern North Carolina here, we get flash floods like super quick. So it's like prep now, like right now, you're getting a flash flood, you know, warning. It can be completely sunny outside, the clouds, everything's going to be gorgeous, hot, you know, whatever. Like today's a really hot day. It's like, I think they said it was up to over 100 today, and it can be wonderful. And then this afternoon, they're like, oh, you could get some showers and thunderstorms. It could cause flash floods. That stuff comes pretty quick. So you just want to make sure that you're safe and you've got some short-term and long-term solutions for that. Now, since we've tackled clay, duck messes, and rainy prep, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, because you see it on the vlog. My yard is always going to be a work in progress. Always. But just to have my little ducky ducks splashing in the pools, and they're happy and they're quacking, and Tracy's in this playful mood where he loves to play with dogs. He loves to play with everybody. He wants to be picked up and loved on. As long as they're happy, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank y'all so much for sticking with me. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting my little floofs. You guys are flock stars. Thank you for ordering stuff from the affiliate links off of Grubterra, Tractor Supply, True Leaf Market, and Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. Because everything y'all do, when you support us and you buy something, you're getting something. And my little floofs are getting something here on the farm as well. And let me tell you, they love the mealworms, so keep it coming. All right. Thank y'all so much. So thank you for the support. I couldn't do any of this without y'all. I heart y'all great big. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And I will see you guys real soon with some more really great information. If you want to look at the blogs and you want to read stuff, it's on the website. Check it out, CrissyOShow.com. I also have recipes and a recipe book, and I've got more ebooks coming out on the site. So they're going to be super affordable. Everything's going to be within $5 to $10. So I think that's going to be doable for y'all. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the flip side. And if you can't be good at it.